Merry Christmas and greetings from Northumberland on the 29th of December. Today we celebrate Thomas Becket. He was for many years the principal minister, the Chancellor of England, and a great servant of King Henry. But then he was appointed Archbishop of Canterbury in a move that the king thought would strengthen his control over the church, which was in many ways independent. But this proved not to be the case, because Becket, being given a new role, resigned his chancellorship and concentrated instead upon strengthening, building and enhancing the influence and indeed the power of the church. And this brought him into conflict with the king, who muttered those famous words, "Who will rid me of this infamous priest?" And the 4 knights went to Canterbury and killed him in the cathedral. His martyrdom only served to strengthen the church and its role. And the king had to pay penance at his shrine, and the role of the church was strengthened for a considerable time. This is the church and politics mixing up, as it always has in the English state, and the influence of archbishops and bishops, mainly for good, has been established. And the constitutional settlement of England has been established for centuries. It's under threat now, mainly by the acts of a present government, but also by policies that other parties have. And there will be an interesting time of finding a way forward. But as we remember Becket and the king, we remember that there has to be a force outside politics which ameliorates the effects of power for men and women, which can be so destructive. And as I say this to you, I'm aware that a massive missile strike has been aimed at Kiev, and that President Putin, a man who has no restraints on his actions, is launching another bid in this cruel and aggressive war to destroy the freedom of the people of Ukraine. It's a different story, but it is also a story of people who will search for power and will use power to their own ends unless there are limits placed on their power, democratic and moral limits. And so as we pray for the people of Ukraine and the people of Iran and Afghanistan, also exposed to governments without any moral compass, we pray for our world, but we pray for our own land, that the checks and balances, the moral compasses that have been part of our lives for so long, may not be lost by an elected parliament that sets these things aside, and that the welfare of the people is maintained through checks, through balances, through moral influences. Because without those things, any nation is in peril. And those freedoms, those moral compasses, those checks and balances are worth fighting for, because they make the societies in which we live better places. Under God, we need good and stable government, but we also need the influence, the moral influence of faith and the moral compass that prevents any government having too much power. May God bless and keep us all in peace and justice.